I've been a loyal supporter of the president for almost 20 years. This goes back to when I was 21 years old and I was California at the Miss USA pageant. And I've known him. I consider him a dear friend. And I will tell you right now, I do not recognize our president. I think that we are an occupied nation. I think that a foreign country has occupied our government. And we are seeing now that this president of the United States of America is being influenced by a foreign government. And MAGA, let me tell you right now, MAGA is dead. It is deader than dead, and Americans are furious. We do not recognize President Donald J. Trump anymore.
Yeah, that is great news. You heard it here first, folks. MAGA is dead. I didn't even know it had a heart. Also, did she say she's been a supporter of Donald Trump for 20 years? Does that go like back to the aughts? Is that whatever? We will take the W's where we can, because where we are not going to find a W right now is the gas pump.
Let's take a listen to one more woman who we spoke with. If you could say something to President Trump and he was going to hear you right now, what would it be?
You're a worthless pile of
And you voted for him how many times?
3 times. That was my bad. Apparently, I'm an idiot.
Is there anything else you want to say about the price of gas, about the cost of living, about the experience you're going through right now?
I would just wish he'd keep up on his campaign promise and say he was going to put it under $3. He'd end that war so fast. But here it is, 5 years later, helping his buddy out get his more money. And then never mind charging us Americans all sorts of money for fuel that you just stole from Venezuela.
Do you regret your vote right now?
Well, between him and her, I thought he was the better choice. But honestly, I miss my Uncle Joe. Because, there was a lot of craziness going on, but it was a whole lot calmer than this. It didn't affect my day-to-day life. I was a nobody, and I was balling then. Now, I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even show you $5 in my pocket. This whole thing's got a recession going on. I don't know if anybody else is seeing it, but I definitely see it firsthand.
This just in, Republican administration makes life harder for working class people. And later in the show, poo has been found in a toilet. But you see, these folks just aren't getting it. Okay, like, sure, they're all concerned about gas prices and about not being able to afford groceries or pay rent. But what they should really be thinking right now is energy dominance, at least according to the guy in our next clip. Oh, it's JD Vance. Sorry, y'all.
All this conversation happens where Joe Biden left us in a terrible situation, and the reason why gas prices are where they are today is because of Donald Trump's work to get them lower, because in the Biden administration, they were crazy high. The gas prices we're seeing today are nothing like what we saw at the peak of the Biden administration, because the president has set us up for energy dominance. And one of the lessons we all have to take away, frankly, every time we get involved in anything overseas, whether it's in the Middle East or anywhere else, the thing we got to take away from it is energy dominance and energy independence.
Yeah, I got to say, I don't think you're selling that talking point very well, JD. I mean, we started an illegal war with Iran and then immediately blew up a school and killed 168 people, the majority of whom were schoolgirls under the age of 10. So are you suggesting that our reaction to things like that should just be the energy dominance? Like, I personally would prefer just if the schoolgirls were still alive. But I guess I'm not as good of a Christian as you are. So let's see if we can find someone who can echo this talking point that they all probably got faxed to them on a memo somehow a little more convincingly.
As President Trump says, this price increase is going to be temporary, and it is a small price to pay for the idea that we're going to get rid of a terrorist regime that has been holding the world economy hostage for 47 years with the threat of closing the strait, taking away their ability to do that, taking away their ability to fund 24 terror groups and kill Americans. That's going to be lower prices and world peace and economic stability for decades to come. President Trump, 100% correct on the long-term benefits versus a little short-term volatility.
Oh, sorry. I dozed off there. BS can be kind of like an anesthetic for me. So apologies, but I have to hand it to this administration for making everything more expensive for the American people and then just being like, well, you're going to have to deal with it. Also, isn't it funny how it's always rich people in positions of power who get to decide for poor people who are powerless what is and isn't a small price to pay? What's that? No, it's not funny. Well, you're right. But unlike Donald Trump, I can admit when I'm wrong, and I'm also not a sadist. So here is a clip of just a little bit of sanity to kind of counteract all of the BS that each and every one of us are drowning in every moment of every single day.
We're watching what's happening with oil prices. Even if the war stopped today, would you be worried that Iran's success at shutting down the Strait of Hormuz is something that would remain a tool in their arsenal, that they'd be able to do what they're doing right now again to punish the United States?
I mean, clearly, Trump dragged us into this war without any sort of plan. It's a disaster that is going to have all kinds of consequences here, Caitlin. And you remember early on during this, when Trump said, well, oil prices going up, in his words, would be a small price to pay. Well, everything for Trump is a small price to pay because he never pays it. Look, it's not his budget getting stretched thin. It's millions of Americans paying more at the pump. It's not his kids that are getting shipped off to war. His kids are too busy cashing in on business deals with Middle Eastern despots. So remember, we just went through a debate about, unfortunately, millions of people getting kicked off their health care because Trump said we don't have enough money, and he's spending billions of dollars on this war in the Middle East with no plan.
That felt good, right? So is MAGA dead? I highly doubt it. I mean, there are still plenty of indicators that MAGA is doing just fine, and there's plenty of indicators that a large majority of MAGA is still in support of this war in Iran. They don't mind paying a little more for gas, or maybe even a lot more for gas, because lessening their the quality of their actual lives is simply easier than confronting the idea that they were conned again. In fact, there is a significant portion of people in this country, I think, where Trump could just bomb their neighborhood and they would still vote for him from the afterlife, because sometimes politics is as psychological as it is political. And over recent years, Trump has attained this kind of symbolic status where he functions for a lot of people as simultaneously a father and a savior and a friend. And so the idea that their father might be abusive, or that their savior is a fraud, or that their friend is out to get them is simply beyond the scope of their psychological horizon, because oftentimes we're not dealing with material reality. We are dealing in a realm of fantasy. What is not fantasy, however, is people's pocketbooks. So I do wonder how much people's bank accounts can be abused before they start to question their allegiance to this administration, and maybe even their broader political views. Will that happen? Probably not with all of them, maybe not even a majority, but some will. And I look forward to watching that happen every single time. Okay, so I'll see you next time, folks. And remember, when in doubt, just energy dominant. It's energy dominance. This is about energy. It's about energy dominance. Oh, you can't put food on the table? Have you tried eating some energy dominance? It's a small price to pay. Hunger is a small price to pay. So for invading sovereign nation, it's there's a mushroom cloud. I just got energy dominance. It's a train wreck. The whole thing is a train wreck.